I think if they took a vote on the top most popular herbs, lavender would have to definitely be in the top 5. And with the bees, maybe even be number 1. There are so many different kinds of lavender that I've almost given up trying to memorize all the names. I buy lavenders and then I lose the tag and I forget what kind it is. And so someday I will commit the different varieties to memory. For now, this particular one right here, I think is either a Spanish lavender or a French lavender, but I'm going to go on now and show you some other types of lavender, and today we're going to explore all the wonderful properties of the lavender herb, and as well as what you can do with it in your magical practice. When you compare this lavender to the one I just showed you, you can see that its flower stalks are long and have really long stems. And these are great for making lavender wands. And a little bit, I'm going to show you how to make a lavender wand. They're really, really amazing things to have. You can use them like a wand in your magical practice, or just use them to disperse the fragrance. Now, this particular lavender is also more of a culinary type. Some of them are going to be more for a fragrance, and others will be for both fragrance, and you can make a simple syrup out of them. There's a wonderful recipe for just adding sugar and water and the lavender buds, and it makes a wonderful syrup when you cook it on the stove. So the name lavender, or lavandula in Latin, comes from a root word meaning to cleanse or to wash, actually. And so that gives you a hint as to what lavender is going to be good for. So it's good for cleansing, protection, and it's also really good for bringing some calmness and some peace. So lavender and its essential oil is great for people that have trouble falling asleep or relaxing. They make a lot of nice teas with lavender, and so it's a great herb for relaxing and meditation as well. And so I've got a lot of lavender planted down here in the lower garden as well, and it's great for mixing in with other plants that you're growing. So I've got a couple of lavenders here, and they're going to grow into much bigger bushes than they are right now. And just over the last few months, they've grown quite a bit. And so as you can see, this is one of the kind that has long stems on it. So that would be a good choice for making lavender wands. And so also in comparison, I got some more over here by this rose bush. I love to put lavender with roses. As you can see, it's growing right next to a rosemary, so a lot of the same cultural requirements for lavender. And so that would be Mediterranean climate, a lot of sun, not too much water. And once they have acclimated themselves, the lavender bushes just do really well without an awful lot of water. They do need some water, but not as much as some other plants would. Okay, so once again, in contrast, you can see that this particular lavender has a lot shorter flower stem, and it's a lot bushier, and these plants can get really big. And I like these ones too because they take up a lot of space, and I've got a big area here that I want to fill up, and the lavender has been great This one also is more of a cleansing type. I would use this to make some smoke cleansing sticks and let it dry, and that'd be great for cleansing an area. You know, the sage, the white sage, which I also grow and love, is good for stirring up energy, but if you really want to cleanse a place, go for lavender. A lavender and rosemary smudge stick, and here's lavender or rosemary right here next to it. They're buds. They get along real well with each other. They are great for cleansing a space if you make a sage bundle or a smudge bundle out of them. So here's the steep slope that I've been trying to plant over the past couple of years. And there are a lot of lavender plants in there with some other really hardy, heat-tolerant herbs. And I'm going to zoom in on this lavender. This is another variety that has a darker purple top on it, and the flowers have like little rabbit ears on top. So you can see the variety of lavender. Many different kinds, but they all share similar properties, and they can even be very protective and used in love magic as well. So it's kind of like rosemary. They are very, very versatile herbs. They smell wonderful. So I want to show you a couple of things you can do with lavender to use it in your magical practice. Now remember that lavender, the herb, and also the essential oil will work. Make sure it is not a fragrance oil. It's the essential oil that came from the plant. Both of them can be used in spells and enchantments to bring about peace and calm and healing. So think meditation, calming down, anytime you want to calm, or also for cleansing. So let me show you a couple of little projects I have here just to get you started and give you some ideas. And I'm sure you're going to come up with some other wonderful magical projects for spells of your own. So one thing you can do is to look at your local fabric store, and a lot of times they will sell small pieces of fabric. They call them fat quarters. I think it's mainly for people who are going to do some quilting, but I cut a couple of squares out of here. It was nicely ironed, and the squares were perfect size and equal size, so I could sew them together. And I sewed 3 sides, and then I turned it inside out. And you can make a little dream pillow this way. So I'm going to be taking some dried lavender, and I may put a few drops of the lavender oil in there, and I'll stuff it in there, make it nice and full, and then I will turn the seams in and sew it up, and I'll have a nice little dream pillow. And that should be really relaxing for those nights when you're kind of tossing and turning especially. But anybody that's got insomnia, lavender is a really good solution to help people relax. Now I'm going to be straight with you about something. I watched a couple of YouTube videos on making lavender wands, and I thought they looked so cool. And so I wanted to do one for you, but so this is my first attempt, and it's not perfect. The weaving's kind of off, and maybe I'm being overly critical, but here's my advice to you. I'll show you a few tips about making a lavender wand, but if you want to really be able to make a good lavender wand of your own, then go watch some other YouTube videos on making lavender wands. There's one chick that goes 100 miles an hour, so go and find ones where they take it step by step and show you how to do this. So just a few tips though, is you want to have the long stemmed lavender, okay? This has got to be like 15 inches from the tip to the bottom, and try to get the stems all the same size, but mine are off. You're going to be trimming it off at the end. And then there's going to be all kinds of little leaves and stuff along here. You got to strip those off. All right. Then you're going to have your little bundle of flowers up the top, and you're going to get a piece of satin ribbon that's about, well, further than you can reach, okay? Just a few inches extra, because you want to be sure to have enough. Okay, so this next part is pretty crucial. You want to tie your ribbon here and make a nice tight knot right there. And then you can take something like your edge of your scissors and sort of crease those stems just a little bit. Don't break them. Because the thing you want to try to do now is to get the stems to fold over evenly, this part's tricky, evenly around the flowers, okay? So one by one, try to take them and separate them. So you're making a little cage around there. And I think another thing that I may have done wrong on my first one is that I got ribbon that was really skinny, and it seemed like it would be a lot easier if you had ribbon that was a little bit wider. So this ribbon is wider than that first skinny one. You don't want it too wide. You want it though so that you can work with it. And so here I'm trying to get these stems evenly spaced around the flower heads, around the flower bundles there, so that I'll be able to more easily weave my ribbon around here. And it's making a little cage around the flowers. Okay, and it does take a lot of patience. I'm going to work on this one and see if it comes out a little bit better than my first one did, but patience is a virtue, they say. So you're going to be taking the long ribbon out, the long end, and then you're going to start weaving over, under between all these different stems. And it's true that once you get it started, like the first row, and it's very important to have an odd number of stems, okay? They're going to tell you that in all the videos. Make sure you have an odd number. I have 13, lucky number 13, and so I'm ready to start weaving now. Now I'm going to start weaving this, and I'm going to see if it turns out any better. Just know that it takes some patience and some practice. Okay, so I have to say that using a wider ribbon as opposed to this little skinny ribbon really helped a lot. And now I'm ready to wind it around all these stems. And when I get to like the shortest ones, I'll tie it off. And one lady in one of the YouTube videos I watched on doing this said to just make a loose bow, because when this dries, it's going to shrink. So you want to go back and tighten this part later on. Okay. So that helped a little, but I am no expert on making lavender wands yet. So I'm going to keep practicing because they really are cool. So what can you do with your lavender wand once you create it? Well, you can use it like a wand. You can put it out in the full moonlight and charge it up. Charge it with your intention. And then, since it has such wonderful calming properties to it, you could cast a circle around yourself when you're going to meditate or do some shadow work. Okay? Use it the way you would a regular wand. And you can smell it while you're meditating too. And it's going to help in that way. Also, if you need to do some cleansing, go around, waft it around, whatever needs cleansing. If you want to add a little bit of essential oil to it, lavender essential oil, that would be great. So have a good time with lavender. I just love lavender. It's one of my favorites. And remember, it's all about the energy.